Welcome back to the message recap. Yesterday we began a new series in the book of Job. And Job begins by asking the ultimate question. Should we accept only good from the hand of God and not the bad? Well, that's a loaded question if I've ever heard one. It depends on how good is, and it depends how bad is. And it also depends upon this God of whom we speak of. The good news for us is that Job wasn't just talking in theory, Job was talking from experience. He knew what it was to have good in his life. He knew what it was to experience bad things in his life. And in all of this, he encountered who God truly is. If you don't believe me, just read Job chapter 1 and 2, and I would invite you to do that. But three things that we learn about God is that God is sovereign still. When everything is good, God's the one who gives it. And when everything's bad, God is still in control of it all. We learned that God is omnipresent, that God is always present, whether that's the darkness in creation or the chaos, whether that's at the Red Sea or in the fiery furnace, whether that's in a prison cell or quarantined on the island of Patmos, the Spirit of God is always present. And because God is always present, He is also omniscient. He is all-knowing. There is nothing that happens outside of God's knowledge. He's not surprised by anything. In fact, before the world began, He knew all things, and He could make His plans accordingly. So He can orchestrate our deeds and the deeds of others, whether they be good or evil, to fulfill His plan. He is all-knowing. That means that God knows the timing. He knows when it needs to show up. He's never late and He's never early. God is always right on time. So God is not only always present and He is not always all-knowing, but God is all-powerful. That Satan could not tempt Job, he could not make Job suffer until God gave him permission to do so. You see, even evil has an assignment, and an assignment has a due date. And an assignment is always for a period of time, and out of that, God can bring good. And even if He doesn't, what we know, He'll be with us through it, but there will be an end to it. And one day, we ended yesterday by simply being reminded that one day all things in heaven and on earth will be put under the authority of the Lordship of Jesus Christ, and evil will be defeated once and for all. Now that's the way you start the week off right there. And we simply ask the question, do you trust Him? Do you trust Him still? As things change in life and you encounter different circumstances, can you believe, can you know in your heart that God is sovereign still and I trust Him? I believe that you can, and I hope that you will. Have a wonderful week. Be the hands and feet of Jesus, and we will see you soon.